So Gary kicked me out of Stickum because he had been dropped out by the net, and I was um, acting like a big fanboy of this guy Elon Musk because it's fun. And I don't think he won't turn out great, but I mean, I, I mean, Steve Jobs I knew was an asshole and hated him for years. I appreciate his contributions now, but that's the guy that parks in handicap spaces. That's not how Elon Musk comes across. And this guy is like a science fiction. Well, like on the Daily Show, Jon Stewart was joking with him like if he was an evil scientist or something. I mean, he has now 3 companies. SpaceX, which has a contract for worth up to $1.5 billion to take stuff to the space station. Company is the only entity, along with China, Russia, and the U.S., to ever put a spacecraft into space and retrieve it. And he's got an electric car company. Started off making this $100,000 proof of concept car, sold a couple thousand of those or something, or 1,000. It's making this Model S mid-size car, can seat 7 if you get a thing for a jumper seat for the kids. I have another car coming out that's also mid-size on the same platform, seat 7. That's possible because the engine, there is no exhaust system in this and that and the other. It's just a motor between the back 2 tires. So these cars have trunks in front and back, and they made a tall enough body that fits 7 adults. They go hundreds of miles. They go fast enough. And he has Solar City, which is a solar installation company. He's got all these green kind of energy companies, and he says it's because when he was in college, he was thinking, what businesses would have the greatest impact, and he came up with the internet and these other ones. And he's out of the pure internet thing, but he's got 3 companies. 2 of them are doing great. The other one is, people are realizing it's for real. Hasn't made a profit yet, Tesla, but you got to check it out. This is an amazing company, and yeah, it's a little bit silly. In the long run, learned something. Geez, everybody's disappointed me. All the greats, even doesn't matter. It can be Martin Luther King or Jimi Hendrix. He's pretty perfect, cool. I think he was killed by the CIA. That wasn't his fault. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying at the moment I'd like to be in the giving this guy props stage, not just go straight to, no, you're a fucker, just like Carnegie. No, I don't think he is just like that. And his companies are inspiring what he's doing, positive, in the screwed up system we've got. So, plus I'd like to see America have an auto industry again. That would be great. Like the old days, we could build our way out of all the stupid money we spent blowing people up. We could recover. Basically, auto industries are great because that's leather work and stereo people and computer systems and electronics and mechanical engineers, and just tons of support industries and skills that are needed. And so yeah. So other than that, I've got to talk to Gary, because if we're going to do this video server, and I told him I would like to have a group of people. So if there's other people that want to invest, I'm interested in hearing about it, because I have priced it all out. I have the skills to set it up. It'd be about $5,000-$10,000 worth of my labor, but we'll just, I want to put my labor in, is what I'm saying, and I need $5,000 for a year's worth of bandwidth and a $3,000 machine. I priced the machines. I can get a good kind of low-end machine that you can put more CPUs and stuff in, so you don't get ruined by success. We don't want so many people that the machine gets swamped and we don't have enough money for a whole machine. We want to be able to upgrade it. Scalability. So I'm a professional in this. Anybody investing in it will get, I guess I'll have to drop my docs to them more or less. But yeah, I know what I'm doing. So we'll have to talk about that. And I'm interested in working with Gary too, because I know he's dedicated to having this kind of medium, but it is going to have to be possible that, to communicate this persona video persona, you can't do business with that. So we have to have the face-to-face one. Unfortunately, I was just there while you were gone talking about Elon Musk provoking people's opinions on it, and him and his businesses. And I was really there because I was going to talk to you about the server idea. So kicking me in both my Stickum accounts is a little annoying. So we obviously need to communicate in other channels. But regardless, I also think we should have a bunch of investors. And I want to count like $5,000 worth of investment as labor. And I'll do $10,000 worth. I'll do whatever it takes, really. I'm going to estimate what I can do in about $5,000 worth of time. And I will get that done, even if I estimate wrong, contractor style. But yeah, and so it would definitely be good to have a little bit more, and then you could do it right and get a lawyer and proper write-ups, because I would like to do this as a co-op type thing. And if we have to write something that we agree on, that's fine. But yeah, if you had money, it'd be nice to get a lawyer, maybe even register as a not-for-profit right away. So anyway, yeah, that's the end of this video. So Elon Musk, Tesla Motors, SpaceX, Solar City. Alright, well, I thought I'd put up a video where I mentioned it, but maybe not, I guess not. I also was thinking about not putting up such a video. Yeah, Gary kicked me being a fanboy of Tesla. And it bothered me a little bit because I was only in the Stickum room to talk to him, and it really made me self-critical, like, look, I need to talk to Gary more in private if we're going to arrange something so we have a relationship that isn't just with this public Stickum persona, because I can disapprove of the way he runs Stickum, though really when I've had to run Stickum I find you really have to do more of the Gary kind of kicking and things to just make it work. But anyway, I can separate that, whatever, and have another relationship. And though I go in there though and I figure, well, hey, I'll wait for a while, we'll discuss philosophy like happens in his room, and maybe we'll get around to it. It was busy, so I didn't want to force the conversation over there or anything. But yeah, I mean, my only concerns are concerns that are kind of obvious that he should have about me too. Can we have this separate relationship of getting things done? The other thing is, we wanted a not-for-profit. I don't really get, he's totally anti-co-op. To me, this is one of the ways to make a not-for-profit. My understanding is that not-for-profits have to have not-for-profit boards, which means that you just have to have philanthropists on your board. So, co-ops are a way to take the system and just kind of meld it differently so that, yeah, there's still an idea of ownership instead of a not-for-profit board owning the enterprise. You have a regular board, but you make it so that they're employees and the building sort of owns itself, and people that work in the building to take care of it own it while they work there. And it's a possibility, but I'm not trying to do all of that with the server thing. I really just want a server, a computer installed somewhere with a year's worth of time to get going, and kind of some goodwill intentions to get that stuff set up, because I don't want to wait, to do that. If I had the money, fine. So let me talk about the money. What has happened is, the arrangement so far is the idea that I have the skills to set it up, and Gary was willing to provide the server. The alternate thing is also that we've talked about that we think might be complicated, is to get a bunch of investors. I'm sure I'll have to invest money too, but I'm going to have to dedicate myself to investing time. So initially that's what I want to commit to, and I know when I have the machine in my proximity, it'll take some money sometimes, probably. Anyway, a server that's appropriate, I've priced at around $3,000, maybe less. That's basically, your basic server with just two
like 4 cores, something like that, but room to put more to scale, so we don't have to buy another machine if the machine gets heavily used or something. So there's that, and then there's probably $2,000 to co-host it. Unfortunately, me being in Hawaii makes the co-hosting more expensive. It's possible somebody else could do that if we went the a fundraiser route where people, well, I would rather more be like investors, that you own, not these YouTube style fundraiser, and more like a collective of people that wanted to make this happen, some with money and some with labor. And the people committing labor are committing their labor just like the money, and the money is used to buy bandwidth and servers, and there's a subscription model. This is part of my idea, that there is some sort of a subscription model. I'm not entirely sure how much Gary's on board for the exact way I'm open to implementing it. I mean, it's not an exact way. I'm open to a few ways, but I don't want there any advertising, and I think Gary does agree with this part, on this base server. So I want it to be member based, and my pricing is aiming at the concept that $1 per month per video maker will support a site of video makers and their audiences. So yeah, to Gary, I've decided to make a public video since you did. I also sent you an email, and we should discuss this more. I'm used to getting kicked from Stickum, or I'm blocked permanently on all your channels and stuff. That is not a big issue for me, but I was concerned when I was using that for communication that I wanted to happen on Saturday. So it doesn't really matter, though, that I put that on me, that I should get another avenue of communication with you. The Skype thing is, though, is I don't understand. Professor Anton did a similar thing, like we're going to have a Skype conversation. It's just like, here's my name, add me. It's like, I don't load my Skype up. When I'm on the computer, I'm on kind of a lot, but I'm doing a particular thing usually. It's an on-demand medium for me. I don't go on and then just start up a bunch of applications that can interrupt what I'm doing and wait for them to interrupt me. So I'd like to set some times for conversations like that, and then I'll communicate more in email, and I want to get started. So I'm also starting this other thing of opening this up again to people who are interested. And the idea is to buy a server, do a kind of hosting called co-location, where I set up the server, take it down to the internet server, you get a nice wholesale rate on your bandwidth, and you have access to the machine. You can do absolutely anything with the machine that you want. This will save us time and effort in certain cases, and make certain things possible and feasible. And that requires a machine and money to pay the bandwidth, $170 a month, something like that. So I would like people that think they can help with that, and I would like money with that. And this is something I'm going to do. I would rather do it as a cooperative. It's difficult if I just try to get the money together myself, which in the next couple years I can imagine spending the money on a server like this, but it is a risk because it has to be sustainable, and if one person does it all themselves, once they get something sustainable after all that particular hard work and struggle, I think that's a difficult time to turn it over. I think it's better to build it as a cooperative. Any investors obviously would... Didn't I upload this video? Yeah, I would probably have to draw my docs. So I would prove who I am. You know a little bit about my skills, that I can actually do this. Alright, that is just a video for now of things off the top of my head, to give Gary some feedback, and also to open this up again. actually a lot of work has been going on in the last 4 weeks or so on this subject for me. I've been looking up. I repriced machines at the 4th, 5th, 6th time, and I'm getting. I feel like there's not much more research to do. I do have to talk to my local co-location people again and start to feel out if there's how to negotiate the price down. For example, buying 6 months or a year of time and things like this. So feedback, and I really think it's important to have this free speech server. I mean, my own idea for a website is not this one. This is a server website that'll have the videos. And I would still make my other website, like it currently uses YouTube, and be able to also use this new site. The point of this site, though, is that people in the public debate, for the kind of reasons we are here for, should have some assurance about their content and their free speech rights, and just a certain ethic about their content, like that they can get their content, that it belongs to them. And this server is just a way for other people to be able to access it. And I don't think we have that, and I really can't even blame YouTube for not doing that, in the sense that their business model calls for them to not give a damn about this particular use of their media. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're telling each other how we cost them money, because the kind of audience, because it's more conversational and point-to-point and big peer networks, it's more an opinion generator. There's value to it, but the YouTube business model doesn't have any way to get anything off of that value. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're consciously planning on how to weed us out, or maybe not. Maybe they think that this seeds their entertainment community, but that's obviously what they would rather have. And I can see why that has to be the case for YouTube, and I can even see why a company that wants to be $1 billion company is going to have to think that way. I think there's tens of millions of dollars of various kinds of revenue, ads and things at secondary sites, remember, not at the core server site. But there's millions of people, or 1 million people or so, that would keep this kind of conversation going. It's definitely sustainable, but it requires something tuned to caring about that scale of involvement, that number of people. A site like YouTube that's going for hundreds and hundreds of millions of people is probably not going to ever serve the needs of this public debate and public conversation that we want to support. So that server would be for, politics, philosophy, opinion, personal art, expression, commentary, peer-to-peer education from one human to another. All right, cheers. Oh yeah, one more thing of a philosophical nature, and I'm playing with fire here, but I think it's important that we be able to go through this. But just in general, Gary, you putting money in does not mean that you have to trust me more. I'm promising my time, and it's quite easy for you to put out some money and me to put a bunch of time, and I'm putting in time, and when I do, I have to worry how it's going to work out. Just having the machine in existence doesn't mean that you won't tell me, I have to do something this way, or try to boss the way I'm going to do it, right? So we're going to have to negotiate things like that. And if you want to automatically trash every capitalist just because they exist, when I think, sometimes interesting people can end up with money and do interesting things. It doesn't make them saints, but it does make the things interesting, right? And if you want to trash people like that in a situation, to try to say, hey, I'm one of those people, automatically, then I don't think you should be promoting the promise of money over the promise of labor, right? So I value that, and I think there's trust both ways, and definitely because of the immediacy of money, it might seem like there's trust my way, but Notice that might have been more true when they're talking about me buying the machine, and that still might be the case. And then the money is in my control when I do that, potentially, though there's ways to not do it that way. And I told you I didn't really want to do that. I just as soon you built a machine, or I tell you the machine that we're going to order and you buy it if you're going to buy it. So I get a machine, and all that machine means it doesn't belong to me. There's nothing I can do personal with that machine. It just means a bunch of work I'm going to do, and hopefully, the benefits of having the working server afterwards. So you need to think of it that way, and I just want to know we can have some communication, and also I don't want to go into this totally like it has to be, this isn't an idea of just you and me. Fred's having a similar idea, many people have, and I would like to, open this up so it is open to people that might want to forge the agreement that we'll have to help figure out how to fundraise. If we get $7,000, we can get all the equipment and have enough money for a lawyer to help us figure out how to do this legally and become a not-for-profit. So, but anyway, yeah, I did want to add that philosophically, because it's funny to have a philosophy like, a guy with a lot of money with the companies must be a jerk. And then when you're dealing with your own money, it's like, ooh, this makes me the one that has to worry, because you're the guy with the money. Maybe you shouldn't be so short-fused on the rest of the world, sometimes. But, be that as it may, I don't know if I made the points well. But if I have to be too careful in the way I make them, that would itself indicate a problem. So I don't think there is a problem. I think it's just not a simple, automatic, super easy thing that does itself. We have to do it. So, all right. Cheers.